Well, the writing's on the wall for silver, and, it's not going down. I swear to God. I don't think it's going to go down that far. There's a lot of resistance right around the 30-something level, like 30 point something, a little bit below 31. I don't even know if it's going to hit that. There's other news that's coming out that's bullish for silver, and actually it's an announcement that just happened today by one of the rating agencies, which is bullish for gold, actually. But, when gold takes a major impetus up, what happens with silver. Now, we know silver's the devil's metal. Don't let it fool you. And if silver's the devil's metal, I guess all hail Satan. Who the hell knows, right? I mean, we're buying this stuff. If it's the devil's metal, I don't know what that means exactly, but it just means that it fakes you out. And this is a fake out. I'm also suspecting that people that are in a short position are looking to unload those positions on other people who are going to be a bunch of suckers, because I don't think it's going to take a nosedive like some people are thinking. Because any time it takes a nosedive a little bit, there's a tendency to go too far one way, and if it goes up quite a bit, they tend to think it's going to the moon. So it's a crazy animal, but the writing's on the wall. Silver's going up. I just want to point out this one thing. This is actually from today. I search all the news articles as best I can. Fitch, the other rating agency, warned today on 12/19/2012 that it is likely it would strip the U.S. of its AAA status, and this is over all this fiscal cliff stuff and the way they're handling it. Okay? It's not, they just didn't come out of the blue, but you understand there's a lot of bickering going back and forth. Actually, Obama's kind of caving in on some of the dividend taxes now, so in other words, the wealthy can not get taxed too much on their dividends and stuff. They're both caving in on a couple things here and there. But it's not being resolved quick enough, and that means that there could be a downgrade. So now Moody's warned about this stuff last year in 2011. So what's going to happen. A downgrade to the U.S. debt is extremely bullish for gold. A downgrade to some like France or Italy or Spain or whatever, Greece, I don't know, any country like that means people run into the U.S. dollar. So now, as they're trying to resolve everything and, say the economy's broke and the government's got a problem, the government's broke and everything, and they're all trying to stand around and scratching their head, well, they're going to get downgraded. And you know what that means for precious metals, despite what's going on. I'm smelling manipulation. I mean, I'm really... You know what? Nobody can really prove manipulation, prove it exactly who's doing it, exactly, who the perpetrators are. You can say it's J.P. Morgan or whatever. And, by the way, since it's Christmas time, you could send Blythe Master some anti-wrinkle cream, some anti-varicose cream, some of the stuff for the bags under her eyes, just as a kind thought. I'm sure she'll really appreciate that as being a woman. And actually, you could send some to Dianne Feinstein for the gun control. She needs a lot of anti-wrinkle cream. Tons of it, tons of it. Very thoughtful gift for a woman on Christmas, especially for Dianne Feinstein and Ms. Masters over there. And, God. Anyway, just thoughtful of myself on Christmas for those two wonderful people, Now, obviously, if you care about a woman, don't give her that on Christmas. The other thing is, on this chart, I'm going to bring up a chart for a change. I was used to bring them up before, but I think, I don't know, I think they're useful. But this is the U.S. dollar index. Now, what do you see here besides a bunch of squiggly lines? It's actually a head and shoulders pattern. You got a shoulder here, a head, and a shoulder. And you know what that usually means? Typically, not 100%. If it was 100%, you'd always win, right? But typically, that means it's going down. In other words, this whole distance from here to here is going to go from there down to the bottom, which would bring it down to 60-something, like a record low. So that's probably what's going to happen. Now, if you figure they're all downgrading all the currencies, and Japan also's Liberal Democratic Party is actually saying, this is a good depiction of what's going on in the world. It looks like alphabet soup. Everything's going on at once. Japan, like the Liberal Democratic Party, they also want to do like super easing. They want, and so does China. China too. So all the countries are trashing their currencies. Yet somehow the commodities aren't really going up that much, right? You know, that's the other reason I kind of smell manipulation. But I guess when it happens, it's going to go like fast, like a rocket. You know, so that's the thing. So the other thing is, you know, when we're looking at these, you know, when you're looking at silver every day, it's down 31 cents, and you know everybody's like, you know, I joked yesterday that it's the lizard people. I mean, there's so much garbage on the internet about lizards and aliens. I figured I'd say it's the lizard people from J.P. Morgan manipulating it. But I think there is some kind of manipulation. I mean, you'd have to be an idiot not to think that markets aren't manipulated a lot. But they can be manipulated up and they can be manipulated down. See, where I'm a little unique about your manipulation is that I have a suspicion, a very strong suspicion, that some of the, you know, the silver pumpers that are really pushing silver, they manipulate it up. So you could be holding the bag at a high too, or buying it at a high. And if it goes down, they'll tell you it's because of the evil J.P. Morgan and Blythe Masters, which you ought to go buy her some wrinkle cream and some of the stuff for under her bags or under her eyes. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. Nothing expensive, some cheap stuff that causes cancer on the skin, you know, something like that. But you know, I also suspect them too. Not everybody, because a lot of people are just following along the top people because the other followers are stupid. You know, that's kind of what it is. Hope you ain't being mad at that, but I'm being very truthful. I think if you're not born yesterday, you know markets are manipulated, especially commodities, agriculture, the whole deal, and silver. And yesterday it sure looked like silver was getting slammed for absolutely no reason. And if you look at the real guy I respect the most, Mark Faber, you know, when he analyzes the markets, he's looking down at the markets, you know, Mark Faber saying, what's wrong with these markets? He will state even so that there is manipulation. He says that himself. He doesn't get into like the accusations, J.P. Morgan's doing this and all this garbage. But he says there's manipulation. But he also says something very wise that I picked up on. Whenever there's a lot of manipulation, there's unintended consequences. That's why you got that physical insurance policy with the silver. The unintended consequences. The brightest minds don't even know. You know, if you look even in this is like warfare, basically. You know, if you look at the brightest minds out there in warfare, yeah, you study World War II or something. You know, the brightest minds on one side thought this, the brightest minds on one side thought that. Depends on who you're looking to. If you're looking at the Japanese generals, the German generals, the Russian generals, the American generals, the English and French generals, you would never, you would never know the outcome unless you were God or something, right? But that's why it's almost like when you're looking at these markets, you're hearing all these different opinions. Oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But common sense goes a long way, and I sure like Mark Faber the best. But that key word he says about unintended consequences, it also hints that nobody knows. But just look at what's going on. Coins are being bought like crazy. You know, gold and silver coins. They're buying ETFs. Yet, you know, the price is dropping. Like I said, they're probably trying to unload it on his shorts, you know, right now. This head and shoulders pattern chart on the U.S. dollar index, that's pretty interesting. You know, I don't know if that's going to play out like that. I mean, these charts, the rules with the charts don't always play out, but they give you a little bit better odds. That looks interesting. That could be a nosedive. And and some of the stuff that's going on with the rating agencies talking about, Fitch was talking about today, this is common sense. I was saying that. You know, we all forgot what they said last year. But they're warning about this stuff. If they don't resolve this stuff, and they haven't been, maybe pushed it off to after the elections. Now they're pushing it off like it's not even going to be resolved by the end of the year. They're still screwing up. There's not that many days left before all these things start kicking in. And if they get downgraded, hang it up. There's no place for them to go. Like, you just can't have all the dollars jumping to yen. There's too many dollars out there. The yen is getting QE to death too by the Liberal Democratic Party that was elected in Japan. There's too many dollars out there. It can't go into anything. It's going to have to go into hard assets. It may not just go into gold and silver, but I mean, if it just went into gold and silver, I mean, if all the money, the dollars out there went into gold, it may probably be, I don't know, a minimum of $50,000 an ounce. But it's not going to all jump into gold. But it's going to be one of the areas it's going to jump into. So, but yeah, I do remember Dianne Feinstein for Christmas. Get her some cheap anti-wrinkle cream, something for the bags under her eyes. I know she's always worried about gun control. Something for the varicose veins. Something to keep her hair from falling out. Some real thoughtful gifts for Christmas. And some for that Blythe Masters up there and the silver derivatives lady over there in J.P. Morgan. These people are bad. I mean, they should ban these type of women from political and business life. They're horrible. And they come up with all these, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do, screw up everybody else. But, as far as what's coming up here in the future, don't expect silver to drop that much. I don't think it is. I'm getting a little nervous about it too when it's going down, honestly. But I don't think it's gonna hit a lot of resistance just below 31. So I don't know. I mean, I think investors are totally high. I mean, they're not. They're actually buying the coins. They're actually buying the ETFs. I think this is some kind of manipulation, but it ain't going to last. And I'm not talking years. So it's going to be interesting when Fitch actually does downgrade the debt. Could you imagine? I don't know what the hell. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, the only thing I would say is, really, that would actually give me more impetus to buy even more physical. Maybe it might not be silver though, but it's almost like tells me I don't want to deal with any of the financial system at all if it's that much manipulated. And one little prediction I made yesterday was maybe there's going to be a QE5 where the Fed's going to go in and actually buy up stocks openly as part of a QE policy. Who knows? And that tells me I don't trust paper because it's probably going to be like Mark Farber said, unintended consequence, and it may blow up all at once when you least expect it.